Across the desolate expanse of Great Bear Island, you can find the remnants of its former residents. One remnant of the past comes in the form of the recipe cards added with the Frontier Comforts update for the Tales from the Far Territory expansion. The cards add a new and unique way to explore the world of cooking within the Long Dark. Everything from the name of the card, the flavor text, its location, and even the ingredients required give us a glimpse into the origin of the recipes. In this video, I want to explore the possible story and origin of the 9 Frontier Comforts recipes and the 4 Broken Silence recipes. Get ready because this video is going to be extra tasty. Brier House Pie, a pie any meat eater would love. Lunchbox ready. The Brier House Pie recipe is likely stolen from the Brier House Logging Company as it is found within the Hunting Lodge, the Forest Talkers' headquarters. History tells us that the Forest Talkers and Brier House had some kind of beef before the Quiet Apocalypse. Being a logging company, they are a natural target for the eco-activists. The Forest Talkers are known for their many criminal activities, such as breaking and entering Brier House property to steal documents, kidnapping the Carter Dam skeleton crew, and using explosives to block the road in Pleasant Valley. In fact, there is another instance of the Forest Talkers stealing something of value from Brier House, but I'll save that for another video. Cambf Light Porridge, a porridge fortified with fruits and syrup, a pilot's favorite after a long flight. After a long flight to Great Bear Island, the pilots of the planes landing on Field 31 would enjoy a bowl of Cambf Light Porridge. Filled with fruits and maple syrup, nothing sounds more comforting than a warm treat like this. It's interesting to see that the recipe includes rose hips, a natural ingredient. While they are plentiful on the island, they are not farmed like a crop. This likely means the islanders often scavenge what they can find in nature and trade with others. Coastal fish cakes, crispy cakes of fish, traditional style, salty. While there is nothing more unappetizing to me in this game, well, almost nothing, I'm sure the coastal fish cake was a great source of a good meal for some people. Found at the lighthouse in the Desolation Point, its name and the ingredients in it make sense. Fish would be plentiful from the never-ending sea. Potatoes, on the other hand, have an unknown source. Although I speculate that most of the potatoes and carrots we see all over the island following the Frontier Comforts update were grown locally thanks to the islanders' efforts to be self-sufficient. Dockworkers Pie, a satisfying pie made from the day's catch, the taste of the sea. Although Last Resort is known for canning sardines, it seemed that the workers looked for other things to eat as well. The Dockworkers Pie isn't even the only Last Resort related recipe, so that might be telling of the workers' food preferences. Consisting of various ingredients, it also includes the rare rockfish. My guess is that the fish from this recipe were likely caught alongside all the sardines processed at the cannery. Last Resort Soup, a hearty, salty soup made from potatoes, increases condition as well as fatigue. Popular among Great Bear Island cannery workers because of its simple ingredients. One of the newer recipes included in the trader's wares, the Last Resort Soup originates from the same place as the Dockworkers Pie. The description suggests that the trader, Sutherland, acquired a copy of the recipe from the Last Resort Cannery on Great Bear Island. This hearty potato soup may also suggest that even the fishermen can get bored of fish, especially sardines. It's easy to make and sounds simply pleasant. Lily's Pancakes, classic pancakes with peaches, perfect for a day of climbing. Named after her daughter, Grey Mother of Milton likely wrote this recipe card long before her Lily's passing and before her blindness kicked in. Considering Lily was known for being a climbing enthusiast, she likely enjoyed nature's bounties as much as its vistas. With an acorn tree near Grey Mother's house, it makes me wonder if she ever made her daughter's pancakes for herself. As she mentioned in Wintermute episode 1, she didn't often cook for others, but that doesn't mean she never cooked for herself. I wonder if the pancakes for her were for remembering the past more than savoring its flavors. Pemmkin bar, a traditional trail food based on dried meats, fortifies physical condition and resilience. Pemmkin is an old indigenous food of North American origin, but is known to be in use by many people across northern regions. A mixture of meat, fat, and sometimes berries, this preserved food is made for its shelf life. Looking across the Long Dark, there isn't a whole lot of Native American influence outside of a few things. We've had the dream catchers across the many shelters on the island and the Kowican sweater for a long time. For its shelf life and weight alone, pemmican makes the perfect source of food for climbers, hardy islanders, and survivors of the Quiet Apocalypse. Porter's Soup. a traditional soup based on savory ptarmigan meat and fibrous vegetables. Boosts condition and encumbrance at the price of fatigue, favored by climbers attempting to scale the peaks around Sundered Pass. Looking at the word porter, it is defined as a person in charge of carrying luggage, usually at railroad stations or hotels. Considering the context of its description, it was an important meal for the climbers willing to trek through the Sundered Pass. Its unburdened bonus makes sense considering the name and the purpose of this soup. Anyone climbing to the high peak would benefit greatly from having the necessary ingredients to make porter's soup. Prepper's Pie, a dense pie made from foraged vegetables, rough around the edges. Hidden within the prepper cache of one of Wyatt's former prepper friends, the Prepper's Pie recipe was likely an important survival tool. The ingredients are mostly natural items such as acorn grounds, reishi mushrooms, and burdock root. These wild-growing ingredients are likely an important part of any prepper's arsenal of supplies. Whether it's for a nuclear Armageddon or the quiet apocalypse, this pie filled with nature's gifts would help anyone survive another day. Ranger's Stew, a thick and greasy stew filled to the brim with harvested meats, fuel for a long day in the woods. This rather complex stew requires quite a long and complicated trip to find. Hidden away in the hard-to-reach Ash Canyon, the Ranger Stew was likely a heavy meal for the miners of the canyon. Requiring a laundry list of ingredients, it seems to me that it would be rather difficult to make it in such a remote place. There is no telling how long this recipe has existed, but the state of the canyon suggests it hasn't been long since the miners departed. Sadly, this recipe was left behind. Stalkers Pie, a rich pie made with bear and wolf meat, dangerous, mysterious filling. This recipe can be found in the remote Hush River Valley. Its name suggests it was created by a hunter that would stalk the wildlife, waiting for the perfect shot. The ingredients further suggest this as well. With plenty of acorns around the river valley, the Stalker's Pie would be the ultimate meal for anyone looking to tame the wilds of Great Bear Island. Thompson's Family Stew, a light but satisfying stew made with vegetables, fresh from the gardens of Pleasant Valley. The name of this stew suggests that the foundation of the town, Thompson's Crossing, was by or named after a family that once settled in Pleasant Valley. It is a rather simple recipe, but is difficult to make when accounting for the corn that seems to be missing from most of the island. In later years, with the valley's self-sufficient residents, they would likely grow the ingredients of this stew in their Victory-style garden. The Thompsons family stew sounds like a nice, comforting delight to help warm up during the colder valley days. Vagabond Soup, a humble soup made of salt, broth, and fresh rabbit, fortifies condition if salty. Originated in the community of people known to hop trains along the Far Range branch line, who would harvest the many rabbits that lived alongside the tracks. To finish this video, we reach what I believe is the most interesting recipe in the Long Dark due to the interesting details it offers. The Vagabond Soup was made along the very tracks of the Far Range branch line. The creators of the recipe, these trained stowaways or vagabonds, would catch rabbits to create a fine meal. The recipe card also provides a fun detail about the Far Territory. While we recognize the 4 regions in the game and can see and explore them, we clearly see only remnants of small settlements. The Vagabond's Soup recipe confirms the Far Territory has a community of homeless. As vagabonds or wanderers that travel a lot, they likely created a tight-knit community with a shared lifestyle and similar tastes. I once believed this recipe card was describing a proper town, but the context from the name suggests these are homeless wandering the island using the trains to go from place to place and taking advantage of the rabbit populations of the Far Range Mountains. From every corner of Great Bear Island, these recipes leave behind an echo of their history. While these recipe cards leave behind something delicious sounding, or maybe not so delicious sounding, they are a sad reminder that their authors are likely no longer with us. With any remnant of the past, we should remember the origin of everything, especially the instruments that we use to survive another day. On the topic of survival instruments, expect a video similar to this one for the weapon variants from the Far Territory expansion sometime in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like for the algorithm so I can keep making them.